Welcome back, Tigers! If your business depends on accurate state and country information and your users are typing anything into the state or country name manually, this video is for you. We're going to review how to enable the feature State and Country Pick Lists in Salesforce. This is included in all editions and allows your users to select states and countries from a designated dropdown. This feature keeps your data standardized and clean, allowing you to easily use states and countries in reporting and automations. Let's go check out how easy it is to enable state and country pick lists. All right, here we are in Salesforce, and we're going to go into Setup. And then we'll type in state, and you're going to go to state and country territory pick list. Now, one thing to make sure before you start anything is that this is not going to impact any integrations that you have in place. So make sure that you check with your IT teams before making any changes. We will explain throughout this video the impacts that you could possibly have with putting this feature on. Now we're going to click Configure States, Countries, and Territories, and we're going to go through a couple of things that you'll probably want to make decisions on. Now, one thing is you'll want to make your default country set if you have one, and we're going to make it United States. And now you may be a company that does or doesn't do business globally. If you only do business with a subset of countries, then I highly recommend that you only turn those countries on. So you can see that when we come to this section in Salesforce, all of these countries are automatically turned on. So we can uncheck them all, and now only the ones that we have checked will show. And you can do a control find to find these countries really quickly. So I'm going to turn on the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. I'm going to make them active and visible. So you can make certain countries active. That means it's visible through the API. If you make certain countries visible as well, that means it's going to be visible to your users through the UI. So it is possible to have countries enabled that your users can't see. All right, my last one is United Kingdom here. Okay, so we've got our 3 countries enabled that we do business with, and we're going to save that. Now we're going to point out some things within these countries that you may also need to configure. So we're going to go to United States, and we're going to go to Edit. When we go into Edit here, this is where we can control which states are showing for the country United States. So we can turn on some of these territories if we need to. I'm going to turn on Guam because we do need that one, and I will turn on Puerto Rico. We'll click Save there. Now we'll go check Canada. All right, so we can see in Canada, we have all of the provinces and territories checked. So we're all set there. We'll go ahead and cancel. And then let's go check out the United Kingdom. So now we can see in the United Kingdom that we don't have any states configured. You may want to configure states. So we'll go ahead and add the 4 states that are typically added. Now you'll see here you have a state name and a state code. Your state name is going to be the full name of the state, and your state code should be the 2-letter abbreviation. We're going to set it to active and visible because we want it visible to both the API and our users. Okay, United Kingdom is all set. So we're all set configuring all of our states for our 3 countries. Next, we need to do a scan. So we're going to come back to our state and country pick list, and then we're going to scan for state and country territory data. What this is going to do is it's going to look across your leads, contacts, and accounts, and it's going to determine if the fields have valid data within them. So you'll see what that means here in a second. This will take several minutes, or it will take an hour or more, depending on how much data you have. You will receive an email once the scan has completed. All right, our scan is done, so we can see it was just completed just now. So I'm going to go back to state and country pick list, and now I'm going to click Convert Identified Data. Now this is going to show you first your country data. So this has scanned my different countries and it has found some of the issues that it's already going to fix down here. So it's found United States of America, US, and USA in the country field in an account, a contact, or a lead, and it's automatically changing it to one of these values. So you'll want to make sure that the change list here is correct. Now we have two values up here that we need to map. We can see we have somebody in Mexico and we don't have that state turned or that country turned on. So we'll need to turn that on. And then United States is missing an S. So we're going to check the box next to there and we're going to map it to United States. We'll click save to change list and you can see that that drops off. Now you may have a ton of records up here. You may have just an absolute mess because you've been using these open text fields for state and country for years and years. And then if you're running into that, I would probably recommend that you try to do a cleanup using Data Loader before coming in here because it'll be a little bit faster for you. That's up to you. You can gut through it in here. I'm going to add Mexico as a country. So now I can map Mexico and save it to my change list. And now my next button will show. And so I can go ahead and configure my states. So we can see that we automatically have a mapping down here that Salesforce has done for us. So we'll just go ahead and spot check these and make sure they're correct. Yep, all that looks good. Then up here, we can see we have a zip code that is in the state field. And this is pretty typical to find in your data. So we can say that this goes to an unknown value, or you can look up that zip code and you can figure out which zip code goes with which state. If you choose to map it to an unknown value, then the user will encounter an error when they come to this particular record and they'll have to fix it. So I will save that to the change list. And now there's no more records here. So I can click next. And now I can click finish and enable pick lists. All right, we just received an email that says our state and country pick lists have been enabled. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go check out to see what happened. So we're gonna look at a report here. And in this report, I've dropped in the state and province fields that you can see from the report, as well as the billing country fields. You can see you've got a text only version and then just a state province version. Any field that has text only in parentheses means that that was what the data was prior to the mapping in the change list that you did in the state and country pick list enablement. So if you needed to get that data at this point because there was a mistake made, you could. Now remember, we mapped this zip code to an unknown value. So that means that it didn't get mapped to a state. Therefore, whenever the user goes to this account record, they're going to get an error unless they update the state. It's going to say that there's a mismatch between the state and the country. So what I recommend that you do is that you don't map things to unknown values. You just clear out that data using Data Loader because you don't want to cause a whole bunch of issues for your users when they're editing records or for you when you're running mass updates. I would recommend that you just run a mass update using Data Loader to take the value from the billing state field and update the billing state province text only field. So let's go ahead and run an export from Data Loader to see what this data looks like from the Data Loader side. I'm going to do an export here on my account object. And then I'm going to pull in my billing country, my billing state, and actually I can already see an issue here. I can't see country code and state code. So one of the things that happens is that I should see two different fields for my state and country. So that means I ran this feature update, but I haven't refreshed Data Loader. So let me log in and out here real fast. Okay, now let's see if we can see those fields here. There we go. So I can see billing country code, and then I can see billing state and billing state code. I'm going to drop my ID in here as well. I'm going to click finish. All right, and let's view this. Okay, so here's my data. So we can see that my billing country information is just wrong here. That is not going to be correct. So I need to run a mass update to fix these values and get them aligned with my country code. Now I also need to remove this out of here. And then I need to make sure that all of my states have the full name. And then this also is incorrect as well. So all of this data you will need to fix. Now I'm fixing it by hand, but of course that's not feasible for you. You will need to do a VLOOKUP and get the state and full names from a list. And everybody should have that on hand. I know I have one of those saved really handy. And then we do not need to update any of these accounts. So you will run this update to get all your data perfect. And then we'll just run an update. Auto map here. And then we've got 2 errors. So it's upset. It's saying that there's a problem here. So let's see what's going on. So we've got full name here, country code. You guys see what's wrong? There's no state of Florida in Mexico. And then here, I bet this is the zip code one. So what I don't have enabled in data loader is insert null values, I bet. Yep, right here. So I needed to overwrite that zip code to be blank, and I couldn't because I didn't have this setting turned on. So let's go ahead and try to run that update again. So here's my Excel file. So I'm going to pull out Florida from the country of Mexico, and then I'll save that. All right, so that was all successful here. I like to turn this back off so that I don't overwrite any data in future uploads. All right, so we'll refresh this, and now our data is all aligned and perfect. So that will be the final check that you want to do. Now I just want to cover a couple of other things that you may run into. This feature is all about knowing how to handle the issues that you run into. Now, if you're running an update to account records, and let's say you're setting the country and the state, now you cannot use the billing country field and then use the state code field when you're running an update via data loader. You have to either use both the state code and the country code fields, so you have to use the 2-letter abbreviation fields, or both of them have to be the full name spelled out. You cannot mix those up. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're updating any integrations or running your mass updates via the API. And there's one last thing I want to show you, that whenever a user creates a new account record through the UI, that default country that you set in the state and country pick list feature will be the default country they see here. And then we can also see I can only choose from 4 countries in this org. All right, that's how you set up your state and country pick list to make your data super nice and clean and easy to use. That's it. That's a wrap. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Be sure to subscribe to Blue Tiger Academy so you don't miss out on the next video we are working on that will show you how to set up and use territories in Salesforce. This feature is awesome for automating the assignment of your accounts and opportunities to define territories. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions or if you'd like to see a video on a different Salesforce topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.